right, hey guys, happy Monday. We're going to go over the voyages of discovery today. All right, so remember from day one, this class was all about taking you from a really long time ago and then kind of bringing you to America, dropping you off, and we're on our way. So this is it. These are our last two sets of notes. We're going to do 8.0 today and 8.1 tomorrow. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Desire and opportunity to explore. So why are they exploring? All right, so obviously trade routes are open. The desire to have good things and nice things is there. They wanted a direct sea route that led to Asia because going by foot was not probable. All right, and they didn't want to trade with the Italians and the Egyptians in order to get the goods. So they need to find a direct sea route from Europe around the southern tip of Africa and end up in India. In the process, they also wanted to convert more people to their religion to counteract the spread of Islam in Europe. Missionaries are people who are sent to do religious or charitable work in foreign countries, did the converting. All right. And a missionary is someone who converts people to any religion, not just Christianity. All right. So advances in technology. What's going to make this possible that we couldn't do this before? All right. So we've had lots of times where we want to trade and make money and do all these things. But what do we have now that we can actually sail west into the Atlantic? All right. So with the astrolabe and the compass to sail with more direction, we're going to use more accurate maps. So we can sail port to port without having to stay right to the coast. We've talked about how dangerous that is. They are going to use better shipbuilding methods. The Portuguese are really going to be the start of the age of exploration. And one of the reasons they're going to be so good is they have what's called a caravel, which is a ship that has a triangular sail instead of square. This is going to allow ships to sail against the wind, not just with it. All right, and they're also going to replace oars, which would be those kind of paddle things, with rudders in the back that will turn with the boat. All right, to make it so it can improve steering. So obviously those things are going to make things a lot easier and not as scary. All right, traveling in those open waters. All right, so the guy that's really going to start this thing is Henry the Navigator. He's not actually an explorer himself. He's a Portuguese prince, but he's listen, you can't just send any Joe Schmo out there and expect them to sail without any proper training. All right. So he made Portugal successful at sea by building an observatory and navigation school to teach sailors how to sail. He sent sailors to explore along the coast of Africa, establish trade with newly discovered areas. All right. So who starts this whole shebang? That is Henry the Navigator. All right, so Portuguese and Spanish explorers. One of the first ones is Bartholomew Diaz. He's the first one to explore around the southern tip of Africa. Again, at this point, remember, they think their world is super small. They know Europe, they know Asia, and they know a little bit of Africa. Just kind of where Carthage is in the very north. What they don't know is that Africa is actually really long. All right, and so Diaz is the first explorer that keeps kind of trying to find that southern tip. All right. And honestly, Africa is 10 times longer than what they originally thought. So every time he thinks he's at, the end, he's not. All right. But eventually he gets to the tip and he calls it the Cape of Good Hope. And he's like, listen, I don't know. I don't have enough supplies. I'm going to go just return home. I found the tip. I'm there. I'm good. I'm going to go back. All right. Vasco da Gama is actually going to complete Bartholomew Diaz's journey. And he is going to sail not only to the Cape of Good Hope, but around it and through to India. All right, and he is going to be the first explorer to find the first direct sea route from Europe to Asia. This is huge, all right, because you can carry so much more in a ship than you can on your back. You don't have to travel by foot. You can take a boat. You can take a crew. You can sail to India, get the goods that you want to trade, and then bring them back and then sell them for lots of money. All right, so this is huge, huge, huge. All right, so here's Vasco da Gama. I think his beard's sweet. All right, but anyway, you can see here, this is the trip that they took. All right, so that's the big deal to find that. So remember, Diaz makes it here and da Gama makes it all the way through. All right, so moving on, Magellan, remember at this time, most people, I'd say it's half and half. Half think the world is flat, half they think the world is round. And Ferdinand Magellan's like, hey, I think it's round and I'm going to prove it. All right, so he's a Portugal explorer that's going to lead a voyage around around South America. He's going to be the first voyage to circumnavigate the globe, which means to make it all the way around. He doesn't get credit with actually finishing it. That's why we say he completed the first voyage, because he dies on his way back to Europe. But his voyage is pretty crazy. They thought it would take a lot less time than it ended up taking, because they didn't realize how big the world is. Remember, in their minds, the world is this. And this. All right. That's all they know about. And by the time he goes, they know about this and this. All right. What they don't know is all this, all right, and even Australia. So pretty crazy. Magellan's going to die right in here in the Philippines when he goes up against a group of hostile natives. All right, so that is Magellan. All right, and then obviously the one that we all know is Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. And remember, Columbus is trying to find a shorter way to Asia. Everyone's done that trip that Da Gama found, right, by sailing east and going around the southern tip of Africa. He realizes the Earth is round, okay, and so if I sail west into the Atlantic, I should hit India. What he doesn't realize is there's two huge land masses, North and South America, there that are going to prevent that from happening. But anyway, he tells the Spanish monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella, his plan, and they fund his journey. All right. He led 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, into the unknown. And 10 weeks later, he landed in the Caribbean. What's interesting about Columbus is he never actually sets foot in North America. It's only ever central. And the whole time he's there, he has no idea he's in the New World. He thinks he's in a part of India that hasn't been discovered yet, which is why he calls the natives Indians, all right, because he thinks he's in India. All right. And honestly, they really don't realize the impact of his discovery until after he dies. Most people at that point view him as a failure because he never really found the trading post in India that he was looking for. He does 4 total trips to the New World and just sailing all around Central and Northern South America and never setting foot, remember, in North America. All right. So that's kind of a one that most people don't know. All right. So conquest of the New World. Yes, there's natives living there already, but the Europeans go in and think it's theirs to take. And Spain is going to be the ones that send some conquistadors or Spanish conquerors to claim lands in part of the New World. And Spain in the early 1500s. Cortez is going to conquer the Aztecs in Mexico, and Pizarro is going to conquer the Incas in Peru. Spain wanted their gold. All right, we've heard of Aztec gold, and convert them to Christianity. With better weapons, the Spanish are going to quickly conquer the tribes. Remember, Spanish have guns. All right. And the natives don't. All right. And then new diseases. They brought smallpox. They brought measles. They brought all these new diseases to these native people that had no natural immunity, and it wiped out 3/4 of their native populations. As a result, Spain ruled large parts of North and South America. And a lot of those areas that Spain landed, they still speak Spanish there today. So that influence, it's really interesting. Usually where different countries landed during that time, they speak that language today. So obviously the English came to North America, we still speak English. If you think about Mexico, they still speak Spanish. If you think about Brazil, they speak Portuguese. So it's kind of interesting, whoever discovered that area, that language is still spoken there today. All right. And then English and French, and that's what I was just talking about, they're trying to find, they're going a little further north in North America, and they're trying to find a passage through North America to Asia. Well, it doesn't exist, but they don't know that. So in the process, people like Henry Hudson and Sir Francis Drake are going to get land for their countries in that process. All right. So what does this all mean for our general outlook of the world? All right. It brought new knowledge about geography and proving some old beliefs wrong. The Earth is in fact round. All right. America is a separate landmass from Asia. Essentially, the world they thought they knew is at least 2 times, 3 times bigger than what they thought. When they saw great potential for wealth, they established colonies or territories ruled over by a distant state in the New World. Viceroys or governors of a country or colony would rule as a representative of the king or queen in the colony. And obviously, you have all these new trade networks, which we're going to talk about tomorrow in 8.1. So the world is so much bigger and grander than what they thought. All right. And that's kind of mind-blowing at the time. All right. That's all I have for you today. So when you're done, you can go ahead and do the Google form. Make sure you hit submit. I'll come back tomorrow for 8.1 and then complete that one and then finish up your work and make sure you have nothing missing and you are all good. All right. Okay, guys, we'll see you later. Have a good day.